Have you ever had the perfect trip lined up? Flights, hotels, everything, but came up just short on the points you needed to book it? It's one of the most frustrating parts of the points and miles game, and honestly, we've all been there. Earning 1 million points and miles, which is enough to book just about any trip imaginable, might sound completely out of reach, but it's actually way more doable than you might think. In today's video, I'll be giving out 2 detailed roadmaps that, if followed, will net you just north of 1 million credit card points and miles. Now, before we jump into these roadmaps, I do want to give a few quick disclaimers. These roadmaps are not one-size-fits-all approaches. I mean, there's actually a really good chance you're already going to have some of these cards open that I show in today's video, and so you couldn't follow the roadmap to a T. But after researching and planning, these are just the most generic and general roadmaps I could come up with that would help achieve the goal of earning 1 million credit card points and miles in the most efficient way possible, both in terms of time and money spent. And if you're someone who doesn't have the strongest credit profile or have a credit score in the mid or high 600s, then there's a good chance that if you go and apply for the credit cards on this roadmap, then you'll just be flat out denied. But the good thing is you only need a mid to high 600 credit score to get approved for most of the cards on this list. And arguably the most important thing I can stress and reiterate, and I hope it's something that you already know, is that if you are someone who carries a balance on credit cards and are someone who's constantly paying interest on that said balance, then the value of the points and miles you're earning from your spend and from these cards and these welcome offers is all going to be but negated just because of the interest that you're being charged on these cards. So it's incredibly important, whether you've got 1 or 10 travel credit cards that earn points and miles, to never let interest accrue, as the whole goal of this game is to try to get some value back from the bank rather than giving the bank more money from our pocket. And so with all of us on the same page, let's go ahead and take a look at how you might be able to earn 1 million points and miles. Even just looking at this number, the 7-figure 1 million points and miles number, it seems rather ridiculous that you can actually achieve it, but trust me, it's possible. Now, I've come up with 3 different roadmaps. I mentioned 2, and that's because we're just going to be going over the personal and the 2-player strategies, as that is what would be applicable to around 90% of people watching today's video. I will be making a follow-up video on this business card strategy. So if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it when this roadmap comes out. But for now, let's jump into the personal roadmap. Now, I think between these 2 different setups, there's around 16 total credit cards. And so I obviously can't do a full deep dive on why each credit card is in this setup, but I'll do my best to give a quick overview as to why I've picked this card over the dozens of other cards that I could have chosen to be in this roadmap, and also just a high level view of what the card offers. Now, starting off on the personal side of things, we've got the Chase Sapphire Preferred. There's a few reasons that we're starting off with the Sapphire Preferred first. The first one is that I just love this card. I'm quite biased to it. It is the first ever personal travel credit card that I got, and it's what really opened my eyes and my mind to what's possible in this game. For a $95 annual fee, you'll be given 75,000 points once you've spent $4,000 in the first 3 months of card ownership. And let me tell you, with this card, 75,000 points, depending on how you transfer your points out to different travel partners, can be worth upwards of $1,500 to $2,000 in travel value. For me, all the Chase points I ever earned, I mean, in this case, 75,000 is a pretty healthy amount of points. I kind of mentally set those aside to be transferred over to Hyatt, where I've been able to get some incredible outsized value from my Chase points. With most $95 annual fee travel credit cards, you're not going to have many flashy statement credits or crazy perks and benefits, and that's true for the Sapphire Reserve. You do have a pretty healthy assortment of different multipliers for your everyday spend, but the real reason we're opening this card is to get access to Chase's wide array of travel partners, and again, those sweet 75,000 points. Now, once you hit the welcome offer around 3 or 4 months later, that's how long I typically recommend to wait before opening an additional personal card, as too many applications, too many new lines of credit within a short period of time can make it more difficult in the future to open additional personal lines of credit. Now, high level overview, the IHG Premier Card, $95 annual fee. For paying that annual fee each and every year, you'll be given a certificate from IHG, which you can redeem for up to 40,000 bonus miles on a single night. This card is good for 2 things. One, if you like staying at IHG properties, and even if you don't, well, then you get 140,000 points for the welcome offer after spending $3,000 in the first 3 months. But for paying and renewing the card each and every year, you'll be given a certificate worth up to 40,000 points to be redeemed at IHG properties. 40,000 points is probably worth around $200, so more than makes up for the $95 annual fee this card has. And the other reason we've had back-to-back Chase cards, and it's not going to be the last Chase card we're getting in this roadmap, is due to Chase's 524 status. That basically states if you've opened 5 or more new personal lines of credit within the last 24 months, then you will not be eligible to open any new lines of credit with Chase, whether that be on the personal or business side. And so for most individuals, the Chase 524 status, myself included, is kind of always this looming thing in the back of my mind whenever I'm thinking about what a card I want to apply for next, or if I'm going through a card application. And so getting all of the Chase cards that we really want in our collection and in our wallet out of the way early, we don't have to worry about later on down the line if a new elevated welcome offer comes out for an American Express or a Capital One card, because we will already have opened the Chase cards that we really want and deem valuable. With IHG points being worth around half a cent a point, the 140,000 points is good for around $700 in IHG hotel stays. But hey, for a $95 annual fee, $700 in value is definitely not bad. And I mentioned this was not going to be the last Chase card that we had coming up, because next, and I have to give a heads up, this is our last Chase card in the lineup, is going to be the Chase World of Hyatt credit card. Now, this welcome offer is the least impressive of any of the cards on our list, coming in at around 40,000 points. Depending on when you're watching this video and what the current limited time offer is, it could be 40,000 points. I've seen it as high as 50 or 60,000 points. It just fluctuates from time to time, although, and yes, 140,000 points is many, many times more than the 40,000 point welcome offer from the Hyatt card. You have to understand that World of Hyatt points are considerably more valuable than IHG points. Even with the 40,000 point welcome offer, I would value this at around $800 to $1,000 in hotel stays with the Hyatt portfolio when redeemed properly, and you'll be given these points after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. Now, the earning categories on this card aren't all that stellar, and so the real reason to keep paying the $95 annual fee this card commands every single year, because of the free category 1 through 4 certificate you'll be receiving once you pay the annual fee. You don't get it upon account open, but every subsequent annual fee you pay thereafter and keeping the card open year after year, Hyatt will deposit a category 1 through 4 certificate for you to be redeemed at any category 1 through 4 certificate property worldwide. And now that the Chase cards have been secured, where are we going next? That's right, good old American Express Gold card. It would be hard to not include any American Express cards in these roadmaps because they just offer the biggest welcome bonuses at the moment. For the Gold card, you'll earn 100,000 American Express membership reward points after spending $6,000 in the first 6 months of card ownership. Now, two things. Yes, the annual fee is high at $375, and the minimum spend needed to achieve this welcome offer is also higher, $6,000. But you do get double the time frame to hit it. You basically need to spend $1,000 every month in order to achieve this welcome offer. Whereas for the World of Hyatt card, you actually need to spend around $1,300 every single month to achieve that welcome offer. And it's worth giving another quick disclaimer. I don't think I need to be this obvious, but just in case I do, for these roadmaps in particular, they all bank on the fact that you're able to meet the minimum spend requirement in the time frame for all of these cards. Personal cards will usually require you to spend anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 per month on average in the given time frame to reach the minimum spend requirement. And so although I am recommending around 3 to 4 months between opening each new card, if you know you have some months that have lower expenses and other months that have elevated expenses, definitely plan opening your credit cards around periods of time in your life where you know you're already going to be organically spending more money, so that way you can meet the minimum spend requirement and avoid the dreaded nightmare of opening a card and not being able to get the welcome offer. I don't need to lecture you all on the American Express Gold card, as it's one of the most popular out there. Not only do you get a hefty welcome bonus, but you also get monthly statement credits that most people call a coupon book, myself included. You'll get Uber credits, you'll get credits at Dunkin' Donuts, you'll get credits for various restaurants and dining purchases, all to help lower the effective annual fee of $375. But if you open up a credit card in this roadmap and it just doesn't fit your lifestyle, well then hey, snag the welcome offer and 12 months later you can cancel it and you're not stuck paying this annual fee each and every year. And once once you've secured this welcome offer, maybe in 3 months, maybe in 6 months, you can move on to opening the next personal card, that being the Capital One Venture. Now, I would argue this gets overshadowed by its big brother, the Capital One Venture X, but it still offers a lot of value. The Capital One Venture Rewards card has a $95 annual fee and has a pretty comparable welcome offer to the Chase Sapphire Preferred. I think it's actually the same right now. 75,000 points after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. But what differentiates this card from other cards in this $95 segment is that the Capital One Venture card earns you 2x Capital One miles on all purchases. There's no elevated categories for dining or for entertainment. You do get elevated earning multipliers. I believe it's up to 5x back for travel booked through the Capital One travel portal with this card, but the real earning potential is in the welcome offer and the fact that it gets 2x back on everything. It's the only card in this roadmap that will give you a base elevated point multiplier, but from my personal experience, I've been able to find tons of valuable uses for them with their transfer partners. And most of you are probably expecting this, and I hope I didn't disappoint, because next up on the roadmap is the American Express Platinum card. Again, it's not my favorite credit card, but if you're thinking purely objectively of welcome offer value, 175,000 American Express membership award points for spending $8,000 in 6 months. It's hard to beat. It's actually impossible to beat right now for the personal welcome offers in the credit card space, because up to 175,000 points is the highest welcome offer of any personal credit card right now on the market, at least that I'm aware of. Again, similar to the gold card, with the widespread popularity of the platinum, I don't think I need to inform you all of all of the various coupon statement credits you can get for Equinox or for Uber or for flights or for hotels. There's a lot of ways you can lower this effective annual fee from $695 to actually a positive net effective annual fee. But as someone who owns this card, it's pretty difficult to use every one of the credits that are offered. And so where I see most of the value is being able to claw back most of the annual fee, probably around $500 or $600 in effective credits you can use. But the 175,000 points can book you basically a business class round trip ticket to most places in the world. And that's not something that can be said for any other credit card on this list. Moving on, we've got the Citi Strata Premier. Now, this might be a bit of a curveball, but with Citi's recent introduction of American Airlines as a transfer partner, if you hold the Citi Strata Premier, Elite, or Prestige, then I find this card having much more value to me and most people in general. As for a $95 annual fee, you'll be getting 60,000 points after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. The way I view these points, they're just American Airlines miles, which I know have received a small devaluation in the last few weeks, but generally 60,000 AA miles is going to be worth far more than 60,000 Delta miles or 60,000 United miles. And so 60,000 Citi thank you points, I would just imagine this being transferred straight over to American Airlines for me to get maximum value. But Citi does also have quite a few other transfer partners that these points can still be very useful with. And moving on, maybe another curveball, but this card, if we're speaking raw return on spend value, it literally cannot be matched, because the Barclays American Airlines A Advantage credit card will earn you 50,000 points after spending $1 in the first 3 months. Yes, you heard me right, $1. And okay, it's not just $1. You just have to make one qualified purchase on this credit card in the first 3 billing cycles, and you also have to pay the annual fee, which I would hope you would be doing if you are making a transaction. So you can just go to a coffee shop, buy a $1 cup of joe, pay the annual fee, and then you've gotten yourself 50,000 American Airlines miles. Again, this card isn't like a phenomenal long-term keeper. This would definitely be one that I could highly recommend to open, swipe the card, get the bonus, cancel 12 months later, unless you fly American Airlines all the time, because the $95 annual fee is really only good for earning you American Airlines miles. But if you already have the Citi Strata Premier, then you've got some really solid earning multipliers and categories you can use to earn thank you points to then transfer to American Airlines. And so all this really gets you is free checked bags with American. One thing to note though is that Barclays, this is pretty late on the roadmap. This is the 8th card out of the total 9 cards available. And so there's a good chance that in the theoretical 2 years it would take you to have to wait to open this card in this roadmap, it probably won't be there. But I did want to highlight this as a fantastic, just like quick, knock it out of the park. If you don't really care about your Chase 524 status, you want some American Airlines miles, $95, 50,000 American Airlines miles, it's a hard value to beat. And last, and certainly not least, on the list, we've got another American Express credit card, the American Express Hilton Aspire. Now, this card does two things well. One, it earns you a heck of a lot of Hilton points, 175,000, which is basically good enough to book you any night at any property in the world. It doesn't matter how luxurious, what Waldorf Astoria, what Conrad it is. You can even book properties in the Maldives for 175,000 points per night. But the other reason I really like it is I consider it a long-term keeper card. At this point in the roadmap, you have opened 8 other credit cards. You've probably canceled some to lower your total annual fees. You've secured 1 million points and you're ready to book an aspirational trip. This credit card will help drastically with that, because with the Amex Hilton Aspire, you get diamond status, which is Hilton's top level of status. And trust me, it's not watered down because you can just open the Aspire and get diamond status. The status truly does retain a lot of its perks and benefits, regardless of where you're staying at the world. With Hilton properties, you also get a free night certificate that can be redeemed at any Hilton property in the world. So for me, I do pay the $550 annual fee to keep this card open in my own wallet, because historically, I've been able to use my free night certificate at properties charging over $550 per night. So just in that alone, I guess I'm coming out slightly ahead, even though I would have never paid more than $500 for a hotel night. There's a handful of other credits that can help drastically reduce the annual fee of this card, but given the welcome offer, given that it's only $6,000 in 6 months, again, $1,000 per month, and with all the other perks and benefits this card offers, at least open it for a year, give it a try. You're going to come out so far ahead in value that you'll probably want to keep it open for many years to come. That's exactly how I find myself holding this card and never wanting to cancel it. And so now that we've gone through the gauntlet of these 9 personal credit cards, where does that leave us? Heading down to the totals at the bottom, if you can do some simple math, as you know, we got 9 cards open at this point. That's 9 cards opened in total. Again, you don't have to keep these cards open. I operate very much in a very churn and burn mentality, where once I've opened a card, once I've got the welcome offer, unless there is some direct credit, certificate, or reason for me to keep a card open long term, I'm probably going to cancel it so I can lower my effective annual fees. Speaking of annual fees, yeah, this setup, it's gonna cost you. The total out of pocket for first year annual fees, again, it's hard to calculate if you want to keep some and close some, but if you kept every card open, you'd be paying $2,190 in annual fees. But again, this was to earn points and miles. You're not just spending all these annual fees for no perks and benefits. In the end, you would have earned 890,000 points and miles from just the welcome offers alone. The other points and miles comes from the $39,000 you spent on all the minimum spend requirements over 2 years to achieve these points and miles. So again, you've got a Capital One Venture card, so any unbonus spend, any spend not going towards a welcome offer, that's going to be 2x back. If you're using your Amex Gold card for groceries or dining, that's 4x back. You've got your Amex Platinum for 5x back on travel, and many other bonus categories with all of your cards. So I'm assuming you're getting at least 2x back on most of this spend, and at worst case, 1x back puts you just shy of 1 million points. But after about 2.5 years, you should have well more than 1 million points earned from opening these cards and completing all of the spend. But that entire roadmap was assuming you were operating alone, because there's another way to approach the points and miles game, and it's with a player 2, or basically someone you're working closely with to book flights and travels and accrue points and miles with. For example, I'll use my fiance. Whenever we travel, we're usually traveling together. So if she has points and miles in her account, then she can book flights for me, or I can book flights for her. We are staying in the same hotel room. It's a lot easier to coordinate travel, booking for 2 people and playing the game together, rather than trying to book your flights and travel and coordinate with someone that isn't directly working with your credit card strategy. And so if you're someone who's got a friend, a relative, a spouse, or someone you want to play the points and miles game with, then you can actually get a pretty unique leg up in this situation, because with most credit cards and credit card issuers, they'll give you a referral bonus if you refer someone to open a credit card. And so the first credit card in the 2-player strategy setup, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, for example, if you opened this card and then you gave your referral link to a friend or your player 2, then you would receive 15,000 points for the referral bonus. Your friend would get 75,000 points, and so would you if you completed the welcome offer, netting you a total 165,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points between you and your player 2 for opening 2 Chase Sapphire Preferreds. Because in the credit card points and miles game, if Chase allowed me to open 100 Sapphire Preferreds, I would think about it. I would seriously think about it. But most cards from most issuers have a once per lifetime rule where you're only able to get the welcome offer for that credit card once in your lifetime. If it's not that, it's at least once every 4 years you can get a welcome offer on most personal cards. And so by having a player 2, you can open up 2 of the same cards, effectively pulling your points for travel and helping you reach that 1 million milestone that much faster. This little red circle, you'll see this on some of the cards in this roadmap. That's just me indicating that you and your player 2 are both opening up this credit card, as there's some cards where it doesn't make total sense. But again, I just went over the benefits of the CSP previously, so we're not going to harp on things too much and get moving on to the second card, the Capital One Venture. Similar to that of the Chase Sapphire Preferred, $95 annual fee. Both you and your player 2 plan to open this card. I don't have the Venture myself, but from what I was able to find online, if you're able to open the card, you'll get 75,000 points for spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. And if you refer your player 2, you'll get 20,000 Capital One miles, and they'll receive the same welcome offer, netting you an effective 170,000 points and miles. But again, this is a 2x earning card. So when you spend those $4,000 to earn the welcome offer, you're getting 2x back on the $4,000 you spent. So that's actually 84,000 points per person for 2 cards. That's 168,000 points plus the 20,000 for the referral bonus, netting you almost 200,000 Capital One miles for opening 2 simple cards. Next up on the list, we have the Capital One Venture. And this is one of the few cards where I'm not advising both players to open this card. You could do this, of course, if you wanted to get 2 of these welcome offers, because for one of the players, you'll be getting 75,000 points after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. And the reason I only recommend one player to open this is for the Capital One Venture X, depending on your airports and your travel preferences. If you like airport lounge access, then the Venture X is a pretty affordable way of getting into either Capital One lounges for you and a player 2, or getting a Priority Pass membership, which will also grant you access to Priority Pass lounges for you and a guest. For the $395 annual fee, you are given a $300 annual travel credit, which reduces the effective annual fee to just $95. And for every subsequent year you renew the card, you get that $300 travel credit and 10,000 bonus miles, which are worth at minimum $100. So it's a pretty no-brainer card to keep open if you're someone who books at least $300 of cash travel per year. The Capital One lounge access plus the Priority Pass lounge access plus the 75,000 bonus points for the welcome offer, it's still a great deal in my opinion. But getting back into the 2-player side of things, we've got the American Express Gold Sky Miles card. Now, the common rhetoric in the Points and Miles community is that Sky Miles are more like Sky Pesos because they have terrible value and they can't be redeemed. But as someone who holds the Gold Delta Sky Miles card myself, I've actually been a big fan of it. I do have to give a massive caveat that I'm someone based out of Atlanta, flying Delta almost constantly, but having guaranteed free checked bags on all of my Delta flights thanks to this card, as well as priority boarding and the 15% mileage discount I get when booking award flights with Delta Sky Miles, really makes me never want to cancel this card as long as I live at a Delta hub. You'll also see here that the annual fee is listed as $0 because with the personal version, and I think the business as well, you get an introductory $0 annual fee for your first year, and then it's raised to $150 thereafter. So for this card, I'm again categorizing it as a kind of churn and burn, where if you open it up, you get 80,000 points for spending just $2,000 in 6 months, plus around a 10,000 point referral bonus for one of the players, whoever refers player 2. So you're looking at 170,000 Delta miles, which once you calculate the fact you get the take 15 off perk, those 170,000 miles are probably worth in the ballpark of at least $2,000 of Delta flights, which is round trip economy to somewhere in Europe or somewhere in South America, or multiple round trip domestic trips. And so although it's not a fan favorite, I think if you open up with the mentality of getting the points, hitting the spend, and counting the cards, you don't pay an annual fee, it's a really great deal. The next card though is most definitely not a no annual fee card. It is the American Express Platinum card, coming in at $695. You will net up to 175,000 points once you spent $8,000 in the first 6 months of card ownership. But that's for you and a player 2, so that's 350,000 points. And the referral bonuses are very generous with most American Express cards. So you'll be able to get, if you already have an American Express card, you can get anywhere from 15 to 20,000 points. If you only have the Delta Sky Miles card, you can still refer your player 2 to get the Platinum card, but rather than getting Amex membership rewards points, you'll be given 10,000 bonus Delta miles for referring your player 2 for the platinum card. Again, objectively, just trying to reach that milestone of hitting 1 million points the fastest. This is probably worth 2 or maybe 3 credit cards worth of sign-up bonuses in one card. You're more than happy to omit this card from your strategy and open up, again, 2 or 3 other personal cards each with welcome offers between 50 and 75,000 points. But for the sake of simplicity and achieving our goal of 1 million points, the Amex Platinum gets us about a third of the way there with just this one card. And ending things off in the 2-player setup is the all-familiar City Strata Premier. You'll earn 60,000 points after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. It's at least compared to the Platinum, a very affordable annual fee of just $95 per year. With you and your player 2 getting it, you'll earn 120,000 points, as I didn't see any referral bonus listed for this card in particular. And with that, you and your player 2 have just amassed a little more than 1 million credit card points and miles. Since there was that one card, the Capital One Venture, that only one player I was recommending to open, the average cards per person being opened is 5.5 cards, with the annual fees per person being $1,175 per person, or totaling, I mean, if you're in a household, if you're splitting finances, in total, for all of these cards, you'll be paying $2,350 per year. But looking at it just a per person basis, that's much more affordable than the previous setup, which was, yeah, a little over $2,000 for just one person due to all the cards that were needed to be opened to achieve the same 1 million points. And speaking of 1 million points, how close were we to actually achieving that just on welcome bonuses alone? Very close. 990,000 points were earned from referral and welcome bonuses alone. If you were able to snag a slightly better welcome offer, or if your referral bonus was a little bit higher on one card, then you would have cleared 1 million points without even factoring in the spend needed to achieve those points. And speaking of spend, it is going to be a little bit higher than the just one player setup, the one person setup, coming in at $52,000 for 2 individuals. But I would argue, I mean, if you're someone who's traveling together, again, a close friend, a relative, or a spouse, then you can get pretty creative when it comes to splitting expenses. Let's say your player 2 has a big expense coming up and they already completed the welcome offer and you still need to complete yours, then you can just pay for their expense. They pay you back because they're your player 2 and you trust them to pay you back and not run away with your money. And effectively, you've just earned the welcome offer for a card and you didn't need to actually complete the spend. Your player 2 did it, but they used your card and the transaction, netting you all of the points and the welcome offer. And voila. 2 separate roadmaps to get you to the same destination, 1 million credit card points. It's not easy, it's not cheap, but it is so well worth it in the end, as if you value points when transferred out to travel partners at a minimum of 2 cents per point, then you're looking at around $20,000 in value, not even factoring in credits or perks or benefits or lounge access or anything else the cards on these roadmaps offer. You could achieve the same outcome given a very low annual fee strategy, but that would most likely take 2 or 3 times as long due to the low or no annual fee credit cards offering small welcome bonuses in comparison to credit cards with higher annual fees. If there's any other credit cards you would swap, omit, or change in any of these roadmaps, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. With travel in general being so personalized and it definitely not being a one-size-fits-all hobby, there definitely might have been a few biased picks here or there in both of these roadmaps. I'll admit to that, but I think in general, most people can get value from all the cards on these lists. If you got any value from today's video, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that business credit card roadmap, which in my opinion is far more interesting and far more lucrative. But again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.